Good day, I'm Marina Kim with the latest news from Kazakhstan. Sirdarya, one of the major rivers of Central Asia, has broken its banks, causing an emergency in southern Kazakhstan. Subsequent floods damaged and destroyed houses in 3 villages, as well as 50,000 hectares of pastures and croplands.
3 villages of the Turkestan district in southern Kazakhstan were flooded as the Sirdarya river has broken its banks on Tuesday night. Several houses were completely destroyed as some 50,000 hectares of pastures and cropland went underwater. Dozens of animals died. Local residents are devastated. We borrowed a boat from the neighbors and went to look for cows as they dispersed when the flood came. When we sailed about 5 kilometers, we saw lots of dead horses. According to local residents, the flood has covered an area in the radius of 15 kilometers. The villages of Zhalantos, Sirdarya and Karatobe are all in emergency conditions. The Sirdarya river can carry up to 1,200 cubic meters of water. However, its current level reaches almost 1,600 cubic meters. I reported about this to the regional authorities, yet no response was made. Interestingly, the floods reached the settlements right after the emergency ministry has warned about it.
On Wednesday, the Special Commission investigating the causes of the explosion at Kazakhmys mine in Satpayev on June 20th concluded that workers have violated the corporation's safety regulations.
As a result of explosion, 3 workers died on the spot, while the 4th victim of the accident died later in the hospital. The chief engineer of the mine is considered to be responsible for the tragedy. The repair team started welding works near the storage of explosives, says the press release of the Regional Emergency Department. Upon the Commission's conclusions, the law enforcement bodies have instigated a criminal case on the violation of the work safety regulations. Meanwhile, the Kazakhmys Corporation promised to render financial assistance to the victims' families.
The 4 workers who died or the 3 miners detained together with the head of the pit never appealed to us. Without official inquiries from them, I cannot do anything about the matter.
Another unusual emergency situation occurred in the Pavlodar region. 31 artillery shells were found in the backyard of a Leninsky village resident who recently purchased a new house.
A woodshed turned ammunition depot. Alimjan Shakanova, who came to visit her children in the Leninsky village near Pavlodar, decided to clean up the backyard and woodshed in her spare time, but was surprised by what she found. I was looking for a wire and then suddenly found shells. I tried to pick one up, but it was heavy. The ammunition was found in the dunghill, 31 artillery shells in total, according to rescue officials. Residents of the entire street were evacuated before the dangerous load left the settlement. Neighbors say that had to spend 2 hours on the street. What if the woman had accidentally stepped on it or touched it with a shovel or something? We would be killed instantly. This is so strange to realize that we live in a peaceful time, but at the same time we were sitting on a powder keg. Specialists will have to establish how the shells ended up in the woodshed. So far it was revealed that the house was bought by a young family just a month ago. The previous owner of the house made a living by purchasing scrap metal. The power of the possible explosion would be enough to destroy half of the village, say rescuers. I cannot say anything specific right now, but I believe that irresponsible people could have sold the ammunition as scrap metal. It is hard to say whether they got it from initially. After the artillery shells were brought out of the village, it was revealed they had no detonation fuses. So far, specialists cannot say when the ammunition was produced. It is anticipated that a bomb squad will establish whether the shells still contain explosives inside. And if they do, the former owner of the house where the ammunition was found will be charged for illegal possession of firearms.
A 35-year-old Astana resident Yelena Isiabayeva has appealed to President Nazarbayev for help. The woman asks to spend some of the money allocated for erecting a golden monument to the nation's leader for the surgery of her ill 9-year-old son.
The boy was born with infantile paralysis. Misha, along with his brothers and mother, lives in a 16-square-meter room in an Astana's hostel with minimal conveniences. The building has no access ramp, and the unsanitary bathroom is located at the other end of the hall. All of this has further complicated the already difficult life of Yelena Isabayeva. The woman appealed to the members of the People's Party Alga, who assisted her in writing a petition to Nursultan Nazarbayev. I have read in a newspaper that authorities in Shymkent want to build Nazarbayev a $50 million monument, and I asked them to spend some part of that money for the treatment of a disabled boy instead. I am the only parent of my kids.
A group of pensioners faced an unexpected challenge on Wednesday when they attempted to submit a letter to the UN office in Almaty. 20 elderly men had to literally fight their way through the armed security guards.
If they're afraid of us, then let the UN install a fence and a police unit with machine guns here. This will show what the United Nations really means in Kazakhstan. The UN office in Kazakhstan is picketed by Almaty pensioners. For more than 40 minutes they were trying to meet with representatives of the organization. However, policemen armed with machine guns didn't allow the protesters to bother their bosses. The elderly were planning to hand a letter to the acting head of the UN office in Kazakhstan, Murat Arjan. The letter is actually a request to include several issues to the UN development program in Kazakhstan. After what happened on Wednesday, it seems that the UN cannot do anything in Kazakhstan. We are very upset, and we hope that with the help of the mass media, we will be able to draw the attention of the top leadership to the negative opinion about the UN. The pensioners see no point of appealing to the OSCE because of the Kazakhstan's current chairmanship in the organization. However, even the UN has failed to meet the expectations of the pensioners, as even reporters were forced outside later in the day. Go there, please. According to the law on mass media Article 20, journalists can visit any state organizations and organizations of other forms of property. This is a diplomatic office. In the morning, the pensioners visited the Almaty office of the ruling party, where they expressed resentment of the authorities. The only person who could stop this never-ending corruption and ensure our rights is the president of our country, which chairs the OSCE, but he keeps silent. The Nuratan members have ignored the actions of the pensioners. In the end of the day, protesters had to leave empty-handed from the UN office, but warned that if the authorities will not start taking their work seriously, the country will swerve to Kyrgyzstan's development path.
More than 100 people demand Nazarbayev to find a solution to the old-standing problem of suspended construction project and debts. Surprisingly, the police did not cut short the rally this time.
Leave housing to people. The activists of the Housing for People movement gave 1 month to the Kazakh president to meet their 5 demands. On June 30th, around 100 shareholders and mortgages of Almaty voiced the petition addressed to Nursultan Nazarbayev in front of the city administration. We, the citizens of Kazakhstan who you supposedly represent, demand to know what you have done specifically to facilitate our plight. You should also give strict instructions to all the state bodies and companies to immediately do something to resolve our problems. The petition also includes a demand to call all corrupt state officials to account, allocate money for the completion of the Premier and Champs-Élysées housing projects, buy out problematic mortgage loans through the Stress Assets Fund, and also amend the laws on civil code articles that deal with mortgages. The message was accepted by the head of the Internal Affairs Policies Department of the city administration, Baurjan Imangaliyev. The letter was forwarded to the President's administration, and there's nothing else I can do for you. Our mission is to forward the letters to Astana. This is it. The whole event of handing the petition over lasted for less than 20 minutes. Despite several chants that accompanied the action, no one was arrested this time, while leaving people warned that in case if their demands will be ignored again, they will join forces with the opposition.
Meanwhile, the president is taking part in the International Mineral Resources and Metallurgy Congress in Astana, which was opened on Wednesday. Kazakh mineral developers have recognized Nazarbayev the Person of the Year.
On Wednesday, the president of Kazakhstan was awarded a golden statue. Nazarbayev said that his country will become one of the major gold mining nations of the world by the year 2015, increasing the extraction volume to 70 tons a year. At the same time, the president reminded the foreign mineral developers that the state will confiscate minefields of those who fail to fulfill their contract obligations. In general, the Metallurgy Congress was timed to the 50th anniversary of the Karaganda metallurgy plant, which saw the jump-start of Nazarbayev's career. This may therefore be not a coincidence that the conference is held on the eve of his 70th anniversary.
We spent 3 days thinking and discussing the concept of the person of the year in metallurgy industry. Then the unanimous vote identified the Kazakh president Nursultan Nazarbayev to be that person, and the prize winner of the first Kazakh International Congress on Mineral Resources and Metallurgy for the great contribution to the industry.